This is by far the biggest build I have ever made for The Sims 4, so you might want to go get a snack or something because this video is going to be a long one. I built this giant ski resort in Mount Komorebi for my Sims, and it's like 5 stories tall, it's on an enormous lot, and it took me a very, very long time to build. So saying that, we should probably just jump straight into the build because we have like 12 hours of footage to get through and also a lot to talk about. First of all, why? Why did I decide to build this enormous fake hotel in The Sims 4? I've kind of always had this obsession with hotels in The Sims, stemming back from The Sims 3 Island Paradise. Way back in The Sims 3, we got this really cool island-themed expansion pack where you could buy and fix up and then run your own resorts in the game. To give a more modern example, it worked kind of like Dine Out, how you could buy a property and then run it. And it was also similar to Dine Out in how it didn't really work that well. But I just thought this was the coolest thing in the entire world. I loved playing with hotels in The Sims 3, both to like own and renovate and build hotels, but also to have my Sims visit the resorts and like use all the cool stuff and stay in the rooms and go to the spa. The hotels were by far one of my favorite things in The Sims 3, and just in general, everything about The Sims 3 just makes my heart swell. I love The Sims 3. If The Sims 4 could just be a duplicate of The Sims 3, but with like better graphics and it running better, I would be happy. And hotels are one of those features that I would really, really like to see come to The Sims 4. I feel like we have the mechanics to kind of make it work already. I mean, we've got all these different retail and restaurant and like vet building systems, so I don't think a hotel build is like that far-fetched for a pack concept. In fact, I made an entire YouTube video a couple weeks ago where I made a PowerPoint and discussed all the reasons that I would like to see a hotel pack come to this game. And I should clarify, there is no reason to believe we are actually getting hotels. There's literally not a single hint in the world. They have never addressed the concept of hotels. This isn't really even on the community's radar right now. Like, everybody's kind of just talking about ferries these days. So I don't want you to watch this and think that like I'm hinting at something or there's like a hotel pack in the works. I don't, that's not true. I don't know that. They wouldn't tell me that. Like, I think people just have this perspective that I know everything and that I somehow make YouTube videos hinting about them. Imagine for a second that I did know a hotel pack was coming and I just decided to make a PowerPoint about why we should get a hotel pack and it was like miraculously right. If I started making YouTube videos about a secret they told me, they would never work with me on anything ever again. And I don't really get told secrets that often, but I really enjoy being told secrets, so I'm not going to risk that. Hotels are literally just a little dream pack of mine. They're just a dream in my heart. There is no real hotel pack. I would like for there to be a hotel pack, but there isn't one, okay? Are we clear? And then the other thing is like, what even is a hotel in The Sims 4? Like, we don't have hotels, so what is this lot? When I was making this, I went through a whole bunch of different variations because when I was trying to figure out how I wanted this lot to function and what I wanted it to be, there's obviously quite a few different options that we could use. I think the most obvious one and what I got asked about the most frequently was it being a vacation rental lot type. But the thing is, I'm building this specifically for it to not be a vacation rental. Because right now, those rentals are sort of the only hotel-like thing that we have in The Sims 4, and I don't really enjoy them. Renting an entire house and staying in a big giant house, almost like an Airbnb, is a totally different vibe from staying in a hotel. I don't really want my Sims to have the whole place to themselves. I want it to be a functional lot with like a working bar and a working spa. I want there to be other Sims visiting. I want this to seem like a real life hotel. And also, this place is so big, it ends up being worth like hundreds of thousands of simoleons. So to rent this for just one Sims family or like maybe just one couple on a honeymoon or something would be so weird. It would be so big. There's no need for that. They don't need all the space just themselves. So instead of this being a vacation rental lot, I tried to make it functional for a few different types of community lots, with the main goal being I wanted this place to be easy for your Sims to visit for any reason at any time. I don't want to have to actually rent it. I want to just come and use the bar or come and use the spa, maybe just decide to spend the night, because that's kind of how it works as a hotel, is it's a spa and then you would just not leave. You would come here, you would use the facilities, and then you would stay here overnight. I've built this kind of thing before. I think the first time I ever built a lot like this was way back when Cats and Dogs came out. I built like a bed and breakfast kind of thing on that island in Cats and Dogs, or the island in Brindleton Bay. The world is called Brindleton Bay, but there's like this cute little lighthouse point, so I built a little lighthouse bed and breakfast there. And I think at the time I made it a bar, so your Sims would just come to the bar bar and then go upstairs and sleep there, which is kind of a weird function, but it works in The Sims. And I like how there's other Sims that are just kind of around when you do it that way. So this lot can work as a bunch of different things. Like I said, it's got a bar, it's got stuff for the onsen bathhouse, the new lot type from Snowy Escape. I think it could also be a lounge if you wanted it to be. I mean, this has a whole bunch of different options. I believe I uploaded it to the gallery as the onsen though, because I wanted this to be like a ski resort and spa. So a lot of the main stuff, the main amenities in the building are spa related. And at this point, we've made a lot of progress on the exterior, so you can kind of see things coming together. I'll talk more about the spa parts once we actually get inside, because for now, I have to explain what the heck I am doing with this main building. So when I was building this, I was looking up a lot of reference photos of real life sort of ski resort type buildings. I kept joking about like how I haven't got a clue what I am doing with this because I am from Florida, okay? If there's one thing that I don't know anything about, it's skiing. This is like a completely different world from what I am used to. So most of this is out of my own imagination. It's not really a recreation of any sort of specific ski resort, but I did have a few images that I was kind of pulling from. It's just hard because you can't really build those real life resorts in The Sims as copies very easily because those real life ones are so much bigger. This hotel, believe it or not, only has 4 hotel rooms, which sounds bad because it's huge. You'd be like, how is that even possible? But it does only have 4 hotel rooms in it, whereas those real life ones probably have hundreds, if not like maybe 1,000. I don't really know how big hotels are, but they look really big. They probably have so many rooms, so you can't really copy them. The lot couldn't possibly be big enough. This is only a 50 by 50 lot. Feels ridiculous to say only 50 by 50 because it is a very big lot. It's not the biggest. It could be 64 by 64, but unfortunately Mount Komorebi only has this size. Oh, by the way, this lot, in case you're wondering where the heck it is, I built this in Mount Komorebi up in like the snowy mountain bit. So Snowy Escapes World has kind of a cool layout to it. There's like a little downtown area kind of at the base of the mountain and it's not snowy. And then at the top of the mountain, it's permanently snowy even if you don't have seasons. That's the only world in the entire game that's like that, where it's got, first of all, different weather in different parts of the same world, but also where it has weather without seasons. Makes sense though, because this is the top of a mountain, so it probably would be snowy, but it's snowy year round no matter what. And I built this specifically to look good in the snow. I don't know what it would look like not in the snow, but it probably wouldn't look good. The roof, I haven't painted it yet at this point in the video, but I ended up painting the roof with just a white texture. So I can imagine that the plain white roof would probably look weird in a grassy area. So I don't recommend placing this anywhere but Mount Komorebi. I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could, but I prefer it here. It's optimized to be here. I make no promises about landscaping either, because the plants probably look really weird when they're not dead. I don't know. I just, I didn't really try it anywhere else. I was building it to be here, obviously. So as you can see, this lot is 4 stories tall, and it also ends up having a basement. So it's 5 stories in total. And I actually met the like lot limit. You can't build things up higher than 4 stories in game. So I couldn't put anything on a taller floor. Honestly, I might have when I was building this. I was like on a roll. Anytime someone suggested something, I was like, oh yeah, let's do it. They were like, oh, add in a basement pool. Okay, I will. Make it 5 stories tall. Okay, I will. I was just really going for it. Towards the end, I even added in the back, like in the corner of the lot, like a rock climbing gym space. Obviously, with this being a ski resort, I'm picturing your Sims coming here and staying here while they work on their like skiing skills with Snowy Escape, but there's also mountain climbing in Snowy Escape. And if you have the fitness stuff pack, which honestly, I don't think is a very popular stuff pack. I don't think that many people have that stuff pack at all. But if you do have that stuff pack, it comes with a rock climbing wall and it builds your Sims fitness skill, but also your rock climbing skill. So I made like a little building in the back to practice rock climbing indoors, which I think kind of makes sense for this sort of area. I tried to fill this place with stuff for your Sims to do. You know, rock climbing, all the spa things. There's a cafe at the top floor. There's a regular gym. There's a pool. There's an ice skating rink in the back of the lot that I added in eventually. So it's really got everything you could possibly want. You could very easily fill your Sims days here with activities, basically. You might have seen in the past 10 minutes how long it took me to figure out the outside of this building, by the way. I was really struggling with how the front and back should be and which side should be the front, what side should be the back, and where the entrance should go. So I went back and forth a lot on that. And then I'm now finally getting inside and going back and forth a lot more on the staircase situation because I struggled so much with where to put those stairs. I had this vision in my mind, and this is gonna sound, okay, I'm like letting my Florida show, but there's this Disney hotel called Fort Wilderness Lodge that I've seen YouTube videos on. I've never actually been inside of the lobby, but I've seen YouTube videos, and in it, they have like multiple stories of just big open in the front of the lobby, and then they've got rooms all around the top floors like this. And so in this, I wanted to have like a 3-story tall hole in the ceiling above the stairs. I really liked the idea of the staircases just going all the way up the whole building. Plus, because it's so big, I think it helped to have some open space in the middle to not have to fill in that open windowless area. And by the way, this building was the perfect time to get to use the new ceiling paint. This is like the exact reason that I have been begging for ceiling paint for so long, because this place is like basically a giant log cabin. They wouldn't have white painted ceilings if the entire place is wood everywhere. If all the walls are wood, why would they have white ceilings? I want to have beautiful wood ceilings, and so I made it work. Maybe that's the real inspiration behind this build. It's The Sims 3 and the ceiling paint update are the reason that I built this. Yeah, okay, sure. I actually have been very heavily inspired by the ceiling paint update though. It's been affecting what I've been wanting to build. I've been really impressed by it. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is probably kind of confusing. This like giant building with all these random rooms. So I'm gonna try to walk you through to the best of my ability what I'm working on. So in the middle section, you walk in the front door and then there's stairs directly in front of your face. That area is the lobby. There's gonna be like a little front desk there in front of the stairs. I put some fireplaces and some cozy seating in there for you. In the back of the lobby, there's a bar downstairs. And then on either side, there's like a spa section with some saunas, and the other side has the hot springs. And then upstairs is all rooms. The second and third floors are both just hotel room levels. There's a room on each side. It's actually only 2 rooms on both floors, but I tried to do 2 different styles of rooms. So the main floor, this first one I'm doing right now, it's got the bigger hotel rooms that have 4 beds in them. There's a double bed and then 2 single beds. And then upstairs, there's like more of a suite sort of situation that's got just the double bed and like a fancy giant bathroom. And then on the top floor, there's a cafe and a gym, and they're kind of split in half. So all of this is accessible by staircases. It's all, you know, very nicely laid out. It's just really big, so it might take your Sims a while to walk around in here. And one of the questions that got asked probably most often during my streams of this is, why isn't there an elevator? And trust me, I completely agree. In real life, this place would probably have multiple elevators. Well, I guess if it were a real ski lodge, it's only 4 rooms, so they probably don't need to have like, you know, 4 elevators. But in those real giant buildings, they have a lot of elevators that go to different wings and stuff. The problem is, it's The Sims. And so we have to balance like the realism with the Sims-ness of it all every time we make something like this. And the issue with The Sims 4 specifically is that we don't have elevators. I mean, we do, but they're not functional elevators. We got elevators in City Living because in that pack, we got the ability to make these cool penthouse buildings. And so one of the lot requirements is to have an elevator, but the elevator is basically just a spawn point for your Sims. There is no animation. They don't actually get in and out of the elevator. They just spawn there on the top of the lot. It is literally just a way for the game to know where you want the like front door to be of your penthouse. And because of that, you can only have 1 elevator per lot, which is kind of weird. So you can use like cheats to put an elevator here, but it only lets you put 1. Like you physically cannot add a second. Maybe there's mods for it. I'm sure there is, but I don't have those mods. And because of that, I don't want to like only have 1 elevator in the lobby or something. I guess you could try and pretend and like make a fake elevator shaft and I don't know, do something along those lines, but I just didn't feel like it was worth it functionally. Again, because I was really trying to balance in this building, what are my Sims gonna actually need and use versus what's realistic. So we decided against the elevator, which just kind of sucks. I wish that we had that purely for like accessibility purposes too. I want to have an elevator in here. You would have an elevator in here realistically, and I prefer it, but it didn't really work out. Your Sims are gonna be getting their steps in if they're on this lot because there are so many staircases. I'm doing the basement now, and it took me a while to figure out where to put the basement and like how to get the staircase, because you know how basements clip with the outside. It's really annoying. So I was really struggling with where to put it and everything, but I managed to find a spot that worked. And in this basement, I put a pool, I put a hot tub, there's like some cute lounge chairs. I think I even put some vending machines down here in the basement. I don't really often build indoor pools in my Sims houses and stuff. I guess this isn't a house, but I don't really often build indoor pools. So it was kind of fun for me to try and figure out where to put everything and what to add in here. I was struggling a lot with what I wanted the pool to be like because there was a lot of conflicting preferences in my Twitch chat with this one, because half of us wanted this to be like a very cool adults only sort of fancy spa area, and so the pool by extension would also be like a fancy adults only pool. And then the other half was like, oh, what if there was a splash pad? What if there was kids stuff here? But I didn't really end up adding much for kids in this building. There are single beds in 2 of the hotel rooms, so if you do have kids, they would have a place to stay if you wanted like a family to come visit here. But I didn't really add in like toys or playground equipment or much else for the kids. What I'm doing right now now, and honestly, it's kind of alarming to watch because it's like jumping back and forth so much, but for a second there, I was thinking about adding in a wine cellar in the basement. I don't know what has gotten into me, because ever since we got the new horse ranch pack, I'm trying to put cellars in like every single build. A lot of my chat wanted like a wine tasting room down there, and I thought it was a cool idea, but then once I did it more, I thought it was kind of looking weird. It just didn't really make sense, and then I was like, you know, I'm putting a staircase from the bar into a wine cellar. Can't they just get the wine from the bar? Like, do they really need to have a basement for it? Do we need more space in this building? As if it's not big enough already, so I changed my mind on that. There's also a lot of bathrooms in this building. I was kind of joking and laughing about how many toilets there were. So to give you an idea, downstairs, there's 2 bathrooms with showers, because the left and right side are both spas, sort of. One has the sauna and massage tables, the other one has the hot springs. And so both of them have showers when you first walk in, because I like the idea of your Sims coming in, entering to the shower room, and then going through to the rest of the areas. So there's like showers and toilets in both sides of this. There's also more regular, not shower bathrooms downstairs. All of the hotel rooms have full bathrooms, and there's bathrooms on the top floor near the gym. So I've got bathrooms everywhere. There is no shortage of toilets here. Your Sims should have no problem finding one. I'm actually really excited to use this build. I've been thinking so much about what it's gonna be like and where things are gonna be going, because how am I gonna use them and all of this stuff. So I'm really excited to actually bring my Sims here and visit this lot with them, because I kind of built this for my university Let's Play. My Sims in that series are like this close to graduating college, and so I was hoping that once they graduated, they could like maybe get engaged and go on a little honeymoon. And I thought that this would be a fun spot, maybe a graduation trip, I don't know. But I liked the idea of them coming on a nice couples trip here to a fancy spa and going skiing. There's just so much that you can do here. I think it's gonna be kind of fun because it literally has everything you could possibly want on vacation, or at least everything that I think my Sims could want on vacation. I don't really know much about skiing, so I don't know much about what skiers want, but I think I guessed appropriately. I don't know. I just have these visions of my Sims trying to climb to the top of the mountain and like staying here to train beforehand. And so that's my dream. That's the goal of this building. I'm gonna use it for that. And by the way, if you want to watch my university Let's Play, I can link it down below for you. It's kind of cute. We're just hanging out. We're almost done graduating and stuff, so we'll return to some regularly scheduled nightmarish programming soon after college is done, because I've had this save file for like actual years. I've been playing this legacy challenge with them on short lifespan, and it's been extremely chaotic. We have so many bad things happening all the time, and we've had a nice little break from bad things in college, but I fear that as soon as I turn the game back on short lifespan, everything's gonna go wrong again. So wish me luck. At least we'll get one last little hurrah by getting to come on this vacation to this building, right? We'll have one last good thing before the bad returns. And while I'm plugging stuff, I may as well mention, like I said, I built this on my Twitch stream. I stream The Sims pretty much every day on Twitch. I will say I occasionally play, like, you know, Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing. I'm kind of a cozy games girly, but mostly just The Sims, and also mostly building. I like to do stuff like this on stream because obviously it's huge and it's kind of fun to hang out while I work on it. Plus I can get good input from people because, again, as a person who doesn't go skiing, what do I know about ski lodges? Exactly nothing. So it helps to have the stream there because they know about ski lodges and they can tell me. I don't know what's gotten into me, but I'm in like a giant build era right now in The Sims 4. I have just started building a cruise ship. After I finished this, I was like, what if I make a cruise ship? And so I've been working on that all week. I'm getting close to being done. I have a lot of furnishing left to do, but the main shell is done. And oftentimes in builds like this, the shell is the hardest part. Like, I spent multiple hours figuring out the exterior and the floor plan, and the furnishing goes by a lot quicker once you've done that because you know like what the rooms are gonna be. And most of the style is very cohesive here, so the furnishing isn't too bad. It was more just like figuring out where it should all go and what the rooms should be and what are we gonna try and even add in the first place. So once I got that part of the cruise done, it's been smooth sailing. I know, pun intended. But I'm still working on that. So if you want to come by, I'll link my Twitch streams down below. I love watching streams. I don't know about you all, not to like brag about my own. I don't watch my own streams, but I really enjoy watching other people's streams. It's such a good like filler of audio, I guess, when I'm working on stuff. Like, I'll be downstairs cleaning the house, Twitch stream. Sat here making thumbnails, Twitch stream. It's just nice because it makes you feel, this is so embarrassing, but it makes you feel like you're not alone working on stuff. It's just good to have like the people talking and the conversation in the house. Especially, I lived alone for like 4 years, and when I was alone, I used to have Twitch streams up all the time because to be honest, I was kind of lonely. So it helped. It was just nice. It's fun with it being live and like people actually being there live interacting. It's just a nice casual thing to listen to. So if you enjoy that kind of stuff, if you're looking for that kind of stuff, I do stream a lot. So again, it's linked down below. Right now I'm working on decorating the bar downstairs, and this was kind of like the first main room that I furnished. So it kind of determined the style for the rest of the whole building. It's cute because we have this bar area with like a proper bar and some bar stools, and there's also more of a loungy space with some couches and some tables. And this looks a lot like the hotel bars that I've seen in real life. So I was kind of trying to channel that. And my favorite part is the double fireplace. It looks a little bit weird because the fireplaces don't really line up properly on the back. Like you can see some weird meetup lines on it. But in real life, I liked the vision of this being like one big fireplace that's open through the sides. Like the fire is just one big fire in the middle. I can totally see a place like this having big fireplaces everywhere. So I was really trying to use that all over the place. I also used a lot of outdoor retreat. This was kind of an interesting pack selection that was being used in this build. Outdoor retreat was a main one. Also a lot of horse ranch, obviously, and a shocking lack of snowy escape. I think that like it's in Mount Komorebi, but it's not really in the snowy escape build style. I was more going for like Colorado ski ranch than anything in Japan. And I love snowy escape. It's got some of my favorite furniture in the whole game, but I was kind of going for like slightly more rustic vibes, I guess, in this building. And when I say rustic, I kind of mean it. There's like wood everywhere, like I mentioned earlier. And back on the pack thing for a second, I feel as though I owe you all an apology because this building honestly uses maybe like every single pack. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. This building has so much pack content in it. I was just going all out. Not a care in the world. I just used whatever. This is a constant struggle for me in my YouTube videos because I want to limit packs to make things more easily downloadable. And also I understand the feeling of like a YouTuber using all these packs that you don't have. I think back to when I was younger and like watching all these Sims 3 videos, and everybody had all kinds of Sims 3 store content, and I never had a single thing from the Sims 3 store, and I was so jealous. I wanted, you know, the little daycare stuff from the Sims 3 store. This is like maybe a niche reference, but some of you will get it. The Sims 3 store had this super cute daycare collection. It had this little like toddler walker where you could stick your toddler in it and they could walk around and teach themselves to walk. And it also had a little playpen where you could stick your kid in it and they could teach themselves to talk. And that was like the main stuff in the Sims 3. We didn't have really toddler skills in the same way the Sims 4 does. We had a couple and it was like walking, talking, and potty. And I guess they could also gain some hidden skills from playing music and stuff. But if they wanted to age up well, you had to teach them how to walk and talk. And so I used to always want to have those things so I could just stick my toddler in it and have them teach themselves. I do have it now. I did eventually buy it, but I wanted it so bad when I was a kid, like so bad, because Life Simmer had it and I was obsessed with her. And so I know the feeling of watching a YouTuber use this stuff that you don't have because it's way too expensive. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I keep using all these packs. But this build, she deserved the world. She needed to have like, you know, 25 packs used to make her, right? Duh, that's it's not unreasonable at all. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I used the Star Wars pack. I used the Star Wars flooring. You see the floor downstairs, that nice stone? Yeah, Star Wars pack. I know, it's shameful. It's shameful and I'm sorry. We are upstairs on the first bedroom now though. So we have, this is like that main, more family bedroom that I was talking about. There's kind of like a bedroom for the primary suite area. It's got a fireplace and a TV. There's a bathroom in the middle. And then there's 2 single beds in the rest of the living area. I kind of struggled with this a little bit because when I was thinking about what this hotel room should look like, again, trying to balance function in The Sims, but also realism, I was imagining that in real life, this sort of suite would probably have a living room area. And oftentimes that living room would have maybe a couch that converts into a bed. And we do have that. We have the Murphy beds from Tiny Living, but the swatches on them don't really match anything. I have this like dark toned wood everywhere and the Tiny Living stuff just doesn't match it at all. It doesn't look anything like it. And so I didn't really want to use the Murphy bed stuff because I just didn't feel like it fit. So I used regular single beds instead. And I'll be the first first to admit, I've never been to a hotel that has single beds in it like this. Most times the hotels that I've been to have like 2 queen beds and that's it. And they're usually just right next to each other. And it's, you know, a queen bed, maybe a dresser with a TV above it and a bathroom. And like, that's the hotel room. But I guess this one was kind of a fancier shape. So I went a little bit fancier with what I was adding into it. And then that same room, I just duplicated it to the other side. So there's 2 rooms just like this mirrored on this second floor. And then the upstairs rooms are a little bit fancier. They are smaller in the sense that they accommodate less Sims, because this one can sleep 4 and upstairs they can sleep only 2, but they have a really nice walk-in fancy bathroom. And every single guest room has 2 balconies. There's one in the front and one in the back, which actually works nicely in these rooms on this floor because there's like 2 sides of the bedroom. But upstairs, I must admit, the balcony is actually inside the bathroom on one half of the room. I probably could have made these rooms smaller and then had like 4 rooms on this floor, but I liked the idea of luxury. I wanted my Sims to have a lot of nice space. And when I thought about it, you don't really need to have more rooms than this. This is a fake hotel. So do I really need an additional 4 fake rooms, or is the 4 that I have fine? Because no one else is gonna be sleeping in them. No one else is coming here. It will be literally just your Sims. There'll be Sims downstairs in the bar and stuff, but no one else is coming up here. So I don't need to have an abundance of fake rooms. This'll do. The 4 will do. This upstairs room though is a little bit more similar to how the real life hotels that I've been to are. I even put a coffee pot in it. A lot of times in real hotels, they'll have like built-in nice closets and like a little counter with a mini fridge and a coffee maker and stuff. And so I was trying to channel that over there in the corner. So I put like some built-in cabinets to hide clothes, like a wardrobe, and they had the coffee maker there. I did do a little sneaky thing. So the coffee maker isn't actually functional. The coffee maker is just kind of there. What you can do, if you want to alt place a coffee maker or like a microwave or anything in this game, place it on an island counter and then size the island counter down as far as it lets you do it, and then just scoot it. Like hold Alt, scoot it back into a different counter, and it's at the right height. The appliance will stay at the right height, but you can just, you know, like scoot it back to stick it in the corner. I've always hated that about the appliances in this game because they're like right in the middle front of the counter. And I don't know about you all, but in real life, like my toaster, she is scooted to the way back of the counter, way back there in the corner. I don't have a coffee maker or anything, but like I would never just have it front and center, almost hanging off the edge of the counter. And I know it's because of the animations in game, but I don't like it. So I did some tricky things to scoot it away. And it might actually be for the best because this way your Sims don't autonomously make coffee. And there's a reason I don't use coffee makers, and it's because they're annoying. Your Sims constantly making coffee really bugs me. I don't want you to drink coffee. I don't want you to have old spoiled coffee just left there. They make it too much. It needs tuned, so I never use them. And in this case, I added intentionally unusable coffee makers. I'm sorry, it's such a weird thing to do, but I liked how it looked. Oh my god, I'm doing the pool now, and I'm adding in the vending machines downstairs. This reminds me that this building, honestly, is a little bit of a death trap. Okay, let me walk you through all the different ways your Sims can die here. First of all, crushed by a vending machine. You can die in the sauna. I suppose you could probably drown in the pool if you really wanted to. You can freeze to death outside, and to make matters worse, I gave this lot the clothing optional lot trait. So that means that Sims will walk around naked. I kind of liked the vibes, so I gave it that lot trait. But if your Sims walk around naked here in Mount Komorebi, where it is freezing cold, guess what? They can die. So that's probably the main #1 death trap is the lack of clothing. There's also so many fireplaces. They're probably gonna catch fire and you might die in a fire. But I think that's it. I don't think there's too many other ways to die here. There's also a lot of woohoo spots. There's showers, there's beds, obviously. You can woohoo in the hot springs, but the other Sims will not like it if you do that. Just be warned, they'll get mad at you. And I'm realizing now that I skipped ahead a lot in this video. I think I cut out the building of the exterior area and all of the landscaping I tried to do. This is because if I didn't, the video would be over an hour long. And I like to talk to myself, but there's only so much talking to myself that I can do. So I think an over hour long speed build is maybe too much. So you might be noticing a lot of changes outside right now. There's trees everywhere. There's like a little pond and a bridge. And that pond and bridge goes to that little gym area I wanted to add in for the rock climbing walls. And this is basically just a big, tall, 2-story building that's got space for the rock wall to fit in. They're really tall, so they don't fit in a lot of areas, so I have to have like an open second floor. There's like a lofted area for bathrooms in in there, and there's just 2 rock climbing walls. It was kind of fun for me to find a spot for these because I don't really normally use them. Again, they're so big, they don't fit in a lot of places, and I kind of forget they exist, but this was the perfect opportunity to do it. That's part of how this build ends up using so many packs, because I kept being like, oh, well, why not just use it now? Why not just use it now? And all of a sudden, we've used the fitness stuff pack everywhere, and it's like, why? But I stand by it. It kind of works in here. It's kind of cool. I did struggle a lot with the layout of this room. I spent so long trying to figure out where the staircase should go and where the rock climbing walls should go, because it was a little bit too small. The building probably could have been made a tiny bit bigger. There wasn't a lot of space out there. We're getting a little close to the main building, and obviously we were very close to the edge of the lot, so I was struggling a lot with where to put everything. And I'll show you in a proper tour at the end of the video how I built the exterior and like where the bridge goes and all of that sort of thing, because now I'm kind of sad that I didn't record it. I wish that I had. This video, I gotta be honest, when I was building this, it was an emotional roller coaster, both because the build was so big, but also because so many bad things were happening to me in real life. I don't want to like ruin the vibes here of the video, but when I was building this, got horrible news live on stream from my parents about our family cat. I was just minding my own business, building away, having a great time. I was on stream and I looked down to a text from my parents about our childhood cat having cancer. I've never had to like react to news that horrible in front of people before. I didn't talk about it when it happened on stream. I kind of just was like, oh, you know, you guys, I don't feel that good, so I'm gonna end stream now. I didn't really want to talk about it. I didn't really know how to react. It's a very weird thing to experience, like being in front of thousands of people and then like, I don't know, get news like that. That's just, that was new to me. So that was kind of unpleasant. Anyway, I was building this when that happened, so that's no good and kind of cursed. But I think because of that, some of the footage, you know, there was like some long pauses and stuff in it. So I did end up cutting out some things that I maybe wish that I didn't have to. But anyway, blame my parents' cat. How rude of him, you know? I haven't really talked about this much online. I've talked about it on stream, but I don't usually bring up this sort of thing in my YouTube videos. But long story short, it's been kind of a rough week for my family. We've been going through a lot. In some more positive cat news though, I've got a bunch of cats that I've been taking care of that I found in a sewer, as many of you know, and they are doing very, very well. The mom is getting spayed this week, which is very exciting. The kittens are about 14 weeks old now, and mom and baby, one of the babies, went to my parents' house for their new forever home last week. So I have 2 of the other kittens that I'm keeping. Their names are Shrimp and Sunny, and they are in my house now. Well, they have been in my house, but but now like it's happening. We're like really keeping them. So it's kind of exciting. We've been slowly working on introductions to my other cat, Snap, who is 15. So she's a little scared of them. They haven't met face to face yet. We've been doing some like space trading and stuff where I'll like take the kittens out of the room and then let Snap go into their room so she can smell. I'm trying to do this the absolute best way possible to make things as easy as possible for everyone involved, which means it's kind of a slow process, but we're getting there. Poor Snappy is absolutely terrified of them. Like when I take her into their bedroom, the cats aren't even in there, but she goes into their bedroom and she hisses at everything, which is honestly really upsetting. It's normal. It's to be expected. Like, I'm not surprised that she's doing that. It just kind of breaks my heart. I feel like an evil person introducing my cat to these kittens, but I don't really know what, like, I mean, I have to. Like, I would like to take care of the kittens too. I found these poor babies in a sewer and I'm all they know. So it's just, anyway, it's been kind of emotional in that sense, but it is exciting because now the kitties are doing well and they're older and everything is good and positive and stuff, but it's just a process to get them introduced. Maybe I can make an entire sewer cat update video this week. Let me know if I should do that. I made one when I found them, but that was obviously like many weeks ago, so I could make an update one on how they're doing now. Tell me in the comments if I should. I don't really know if people care, so I would love to know if you do. But with that, we're pretty much done here with the entire build. So as you can see, it took us like about as long to furnish as it did to build the shell, which is kind of funny. But now I want to bring you back into the game and show you a proper tour of the finished build so you can see around everything. It's also kind of hard to see what I'm doing because I'm speeding the camera and spinning it around so much, but I built it up here on this big giant empty lot in Mount Komorebi. On the gallery, it's called Great Elk Lodge and Spa, and it costs 374,000 simoleons, and as you can see, uses a ridiculous number of packs. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's also uploaded as an onsen bathhouse, that lot type from Snowy Escape, but you could switch it to a lot of different things if you wanted to. It could be a spa, it could be a bar. I mean, it could be pretty much any community lot. There's stuff everywhere, so it meets most of the lot requirements. Give it a second. It may take a bit to place. Okay, here we go. This is the finished building. So there's a couple things that I wanted to point out on the front here. I tried to make a bit of a fake driveway. You know how a lot of hotels will have like a big rounded driveway to come up to? There's no need for a driveway here because there's no cars. Like you can't do that. You're walking through the snow, but I still wanted to have a fancy entrance, so I put this here. You can't see it that well, but there is stone path there. It's just kind of covered by snow. I also added some cute little lit up trees and some snowmen. I didn't decorate this like a holiday place. It's just wintry. There's not like Christmas decor in there. I also used, like I said, a lot of outdoor retreat. So we have this big giant guy. Look at how big it is by default, by the way. I sized it down and he's still that big. This thing also costs 12,000 simoleons. It's one of the most expensive things in the entire game, but he's kind of our little mascot here. And we have a sign walking up. Then you walk up to the front. There's some pretty fairy lights hung up and a staircase. I also have a place to put your skis. There's like a little sign. And then you enter straight into the lobby, which looks like this. We have some fireplaces on both sides. There's like a little table here, and then you come forward to the front desk. No one actually works here, but I did put a gnome. So I mean, I guess he works here. He owns the place. He's got a computer and everything, kind of just sat around. And my favorite part is when you walk further forward, look at the view when you come into the back of the lobby. You can see all the way up to the top floor. I just think that's so cool. The lobby has a hallway on either side, and if you come into the hallway, you can see some vending machines. I put some music playing as well. On this left side, this is the showers and the locker room for the hot springs. So you'll come in here, shower, and then go into the spring. And then on the right side, we've got the showers and lockers for the rest of the spa. So we have the saunas. There's like a couples massage area and a spot to get your nails done. You can also access the basement from here, and in the basement is that fancy pool and hot tub area. There's vending machines all over the place because I was worried about your Sims having enough food, so I made sure there was plenty everywhere. And then in the way back of the main first floor is the bar. So we have this kind of cute little bar area where your Sims can get a drink. We've got the lounge set up. These are the fireplaces that I was talking about. This is kind of a weird seam, I know, but I still like how they look backed up against each other. And from this bar, you can access the back patio. So on the back patio, we have a couple fire pits placed down. There's some places to store skis on either side. There's just some little benches. People in my Twitch chat were laughing about how there was pillows on them, but I don't know. It was cute. Is it realistic? I don't know. I'm from Florida, but I like it. There's also some cute fairy lights. There's a telescope. Oh, you can die from the telescope too. I forgot about that. Well, there's a telescope. You can come down. I put a little spot to get tea. And then we have the beautiful ice rink. This thing is actually partially off the lot. I don't know if you can tell, but the lot ends right here. And it's like overhanging off the lot. It still works, but this just goes to show you that I used up like every inch of the space on this lot. Around the side, you can also access this cute little bridge. I made this little bridge area that goes over a frozen pond. And then from there, you can get into the spot with the rock climbing walls. So in here, there's like a little loft that you can go up and use the bathroom and shower in. There's some places to sit. We got a fireplace and then rock climbing. This is what the place looks like from the back, by the way. You've seen the front, but here is the finished product of the back. And when you go back inside, you go up the stairs, and this is the first floor, or I guess second floor, depending on how you think about it. And we've got two identical guest rooms up here. So you walk into these cute double doors, and we've got the single beds. There's a desk. There's a double bed back here with a fireplace and a TV. They've got a balcony on both sides. One's just got chairs, and one has a card table so you can play games. And then they have a little bathroom. It also has a tub, so if you wanted to take like fancy mud baths and stuff, you can do that in here. There is just a complete duplicate of that on the other side. And there's also some fun spots for music. I've got a guitar and a piano. Lots of just random places to sit, kind of filling in everywhere. And then you go upstairs again. And this is my second favorite view of the whole building. I think it's so cool to look down through all of these open floors. But this floor is kind of just walkway in the main space. We also have some games tables up here too, in case you wanted to play some card games and stuff. And then on this floor, we have those second guest bedrooms. They're a little bit smaller and like more traditional hotel room vibes. So there's a bed, we've got a chair and a fireplace with a TV. I've got a desk again in this area. And then we also have like the cute storage space with the coffee pot. This is what I was talking about when I mentioned how you could try and like hide the coffee pot somewhere. You can just hide this counter inside of another one. And then they have a really fancy bathroom. So we've got a big sink area, a fancy tub, nice toilets, and then this kind of cool walk-in shower that I built. And this is the balcony off of the bathroom that I mentioned before. It's kind of weird, but It's nice. And across the way, just the same thing duplicated again. I actually put some suitcases in this one, so it seems like maybe your sim is staying in there. And I don't know if you can tell, but I have this cute sign that leads you up to coffee. This is the second staircase. You can go from up here to the top floor, and this is the little cafe section. So there's some tables to sit at. There's some computers if your sim needs one. We've got some couches too, and then they have a little place to buy coffee. So if you wanted, you could even class this as a cafe. It'll function appropriately that way too. And back downstairs to the other side, the other staircase, you can come up here, and this is the gym that I was talking about. It's got a very small little yoga room. It's got a bunch of gym equipment, and it's also got some showers and a toilet in case you need one. But that, my friends, is the entire enormous building. I've spent so long on this, and I'm really proud of it, so I hope that you like it too. I don't usually build stuff like this very often, so it's been really fun for me to work on, and hopefully it's fun for you to play with. In the end, like I said, it costs like $1 million and uses 1 million packs, but at least it's pretty. I'm really excited for my sims to come here on their little honeymoon, college graduation trip thing, so stay tuned for that in my university Let's Play. I will link that playlist and also my Twitch streams down below in case you want to go back and watch them. And you know what? I post all of my streams on my second channel called More Simsie after I'm done streaming them. So if you want to go back and watch my past live streams, I've posted all of the building of this building already. It's many hours of footage, but if you wanted to watch the live part, just not live, you can do that too. I'll link it down below again. Thank you for watching. I will stop rambling in your ear now, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Okay? Bye, everybody. Oh my goodness, I can't believe the build is done. Officially now, after all this time, it's finally finished. Now back to the cruise ship.